Hello everyone, I hope you're okay and enjoying the sunshine. But today I'm going to do a video on Paso walks, so that will complete our series of Latin walks. Obviously there's no jive walks, but Katie has kindly done a video on jive basic if you want to check that out afterwards. Okay, so I wanted to start by flagging up that Paso used to be a ballroom dance, and that's kind of why it's a whole different kettle of fish than the other Latin dances, which and if we don't understand this, then it's harder to dance it well. And so it used to be a ballroom dance, and you'll notice that we're in hold a lot of the time. We deal with promenade position. There's steps like fall-away slips and open telemarks, and we dance on heels a lot. So it's a different mindset, and I think that understanding that it's similar to ballroom can help us in the shaping as well. So if I took the kind of hold, our Latin hold is more round than ballroom. So our char hold, the elbows are kind of working towards our partner, and both of the leads and followers' hands are kind of further round on the back, or shoulder blades. So we're kind of working towards our partner, but in Paso, we still have this kind of feeling of coming towards instead of with our elbows out in ballroom. But I tend to think of it as imagining your ballroom hold that's gone really badly. So if you remember these sticks I was talking about in ballroom, and whatever they do, they can't shift. Well, in Latin they can, and especially in Paso, if you imagine kind of falling out of promenade with your dropped right side, this is essentially your Paso position. You're still working back into this space. Same for a lead, you're still working back, but this side is elongated while this side is still crunched. So we have this opposing stretch going on, and this is helped by the fact that our top line is straight, but our hips and legs are at an angle. So if actually I'm thinking about, it doesn't really matter which way I do this because it's just going to mirror it for leads. So I guess I'm doing this as a follower, but yeah, it's the same principle. Your top line stays here, and your hips and legs kind of go on an angle, and this is where we start to get this opposition from, because naturally this side's going to be longer than the right side or left side, whichever way you're doing it. And we're working back into this space, and this hand is often turned out, and we're still feeling we're around this bowl and we have a big shape, but you can afford to drop this side, but make sure that our chest is open. You don't want here, you want our head up, and it's still shoulders down, shoulder blades together as normal. It's just that this side can be dropped a little bit to get that kind of shape. So if I start with the legs, there's actually not much difference in the way that the leg moves to rumba. We're still going to have it slide against the floor, our toe, with our ankle leading, but instead of going on a straight, obviously we're on a diagonal, and it's coming across us as if we're about to do a spot turn or something. But we're here, and we get this kind of straight line as if you'd overturned your ankle. And then it's just that at the very last minute we're going to go onto the heel. So if this was rumba and we were going on this funny angle, we'd be yeah, but that looks really weird. So we're going to push our foot along the floor, keep our back leg straight, and then at the very last minute when we have to move, we step strongly onto a heel. And I think it's actually harder to do in without heels, to be honest, because you can get a lot of power from especially your back heel and pushing into it. But at the same time, our hips are going forward. So just as in ballroom, if you're doing a line or something, for a follower, I find the position is kind of really similar to a same foot lunge. So if I did a same foot lunge in ballroom, and then like did my hips for like the walk, it's kind of a bit similar. And obviously the same for the leads. If you were doing like a throwaway, like, oh, worst throwaway I've ever seen, like your hips are working forward, and it's the same thing for you walking here. Yeah. Now the way it can feel a bit weird, like telling you to like walk with your hips forward, and I certainly don't want any like weird thrusts going on, but like if you imagine that you had a belt, but it's right, yeah, my belt's not very helpful. You need a belt. Oh no, I thought about this. I have a belt. So if you imagine you had a belt round your hips, this is gonna look so attractive. Okay. Right, if you imagine you had a belt round your hips and someone was pulling it, but you're trying to get, like, you're trying to leave and lean back into this space for as long as humanly possible, and then you flick onto the heel, that's what it feels like. And you should feel like there's like a bow shape from like the back of your heel to your arm and your head. So like your hips are going to go this way, but you're being stretched back. So we kind of have like this stretch going on. So we're here and we want a bigger bow as we can, but obviously not so much as in ballroom. I'll take this off now, it looks silly, but you, you get the idea. So we're stretching, like our hips are going forward, and you want to feel like it's like from beneath your bum to like your hips that it's coming from. But as I said, we want, while like our chest is kind of backwards, it's not dropped, it's still here, and like we're ready to go like here. And that's why I find it helpful to practice this, as if you're in hold, you can easily like practice it like here, like yeah, yeah, or like if you're in lead, yeah, and oh, appels. It kind of like gets us going. It's kind of like if any people that understand music, if it's like the upbeat to the bar, your appel would be the upbeat, and a 1, 2, 3. So like what the actual technique of an appel, it's not just you like stamping your foot. It's actually like meant to be on the ball of your foot. So it's meant to be a way that you turn to promenade, and you're meant to like just with the ball of your foot, but there's like a styling, an individual style that's kind of caught on trend to like just smack your heel as loud as you can to catch the judge's attention. I don't know, I think obviously some of it is a bit excessive, but like I think like a little like yeah is like nice. I don't know my heels on, so I can't really do it, but yeah, that's an appel. It's like the scuff of like the ball of your foot onto the floor and not the heel, and it's like a way we use to like go from like here to here, and it's a good way to like stretch out the beat. So if I just show you, if I went and 1, 2, so it's kind of like and a 1, sorry, and 1, so like half a beat then a whole beat, as opposed to just going 1, 2, 3. It kind of like gets your momentum going, because you're allowed to like fall a bit. You're not like falling this way, but like your hips are going forward, and then you're waiting till you absolutely have to move, and then you use that power to like get into your walks. And I'll get onto arms later, because you can feel a bit silly like walking like with this kind of like little thrust and not knowing what to do with your arms, but there's nothing wrong with like marching or like going big or like on your waist. I find it nice to practice these walks as a female follower with yeah, like here, and then get like a little shoulder pop. It kind of helps with the shape, I find. Yeah, is there anything else? Yes, make sure like your legs are straight and you're standing on straight legs, and like you want to feel like you're on the toe, but at the very last minute you flick it. And for me, again, this is probably a wrong way of thinking about it, but I think it kind of works for me. I like to kind of relate it to tango, because you know we have our funny feet in tango. I don't know if you can see my feet actually. I hope you can. They're kind of like offset, like they're not kind of in line, they're kind of here. But the way you move in tango is that you do a heel, but then like you kind of pick it up off the floor really quickly and drag it in next to the other foot. So it's like, yeah. And I just kind of think about it as the reverse in Paso, and while your feet are along the floor, you don't pick them up. You kind of like, you quickly like use the heel, just like you quickly do in tango. So it's like, yeah. And in tango, you'd be like, yeah. One thing I haven't mentioned that I probably should is the technique about getting your big step. So like, you know in rumba how I said when you bring your foot here, you don't want to just leave it, you want to push off that back leg and use that like energy you've used from the hip action to get onto your big step. The same thing's going to happen here in Paso. So like we've gone here and we've moved our leg, and we want to, like, while I said that we can flick the foot and go onto the heel at the last minute, there is a point where like you'll be on your heel and like you'll be pushing off your back leg, so you'll go onto the toe of your back foot and then you'll move along the floor with your heel. I really hope you can see that because I had to move the camera. But yeah, so you get the power here from like, you kind of slide from like, you like push off your back leg and kind of like your heel goes along the floor. And obviously it's a bit harder to do in without heels actually, because like you're really stretching your hamstring or calf. Like you get like an extra kind of height with heels that really helps when you're practicing this. But incidentally, if I relate it back to ballroom, I find it's kind of similar to if you're doing a feather step in foxtrot as a follower or a reverse wave as a lead. You know that step on your left leg where you go backwards here? So if I do it, sorry, yeah. That doesn't make much sense and you can't see. Right, so you go back on your left leg. It's really not a good place. But there should be a point, if you took a picture, where you'd be on the toe of your back leg and the heel of your front foot. So you'd be here, like balancing there. And it's the same thing here in Paso. So you'd be balancing on the heel of your front leg and the toe of your back foot. But I don't want you to obsess about this really, because you know, like in cha-cha, how like your feet are meant to be like on the floor all the time, but in reality they're going to come up a tiny bit just because of the speed. It's the same thing in Paso. I think it's more important to like think about you kind of falling and like getting a big powerful step, and like the longer you leave something, it's more dramatic when you get that sudden step, as opposed to like go like sliding the heel along the floor. But obviously it's technique, so you need to practice it, and there needs to be some element of it there. But I personally, I don't think it's something you should obsess about, but it is there. So just something I wanted to flag up. As always, if you have any questions or something you didn't understand, let me know. And I hope you're all okay, and lots of love.